Okay. Today I want to look at some content, and the content I want to look at is this content that's been getting sort of sent my way pretty rapidly, hot and heavy recently. I don't know why. You get like these waves of it. Say over the last like 2 or 3 years, you get like these different waves of it where it just all of a sudden, 1 month, and it'll just start coming at you pretty hard. And this type of content comes through the shorts and it comes in full video form. For people that used to use YouTube pretty frequently, you'll notice you get these different waves of content. But this is this is very tabloidy oriented content. It's very grifty. Much of it is like this, where this is sort of one of the standard packaging where it's like a manosphere type podcast type vibe, and this guy's just gonna like watch TikToks of women complaining about like the current dating scene or like being single in their 30s or what's wrong with men, and he's just gonna sort of like clap back and like dunk on them. And like I'll admit, like I would be lying if I haven't watched a bunch of these videos and didn't like sometimes end up in like rabbit holes of this stuff just because it's just like entertaining to watch, and you just sit there and you like listen to it, you laugh. This guy's really funny, Levi Nix. So if you want to laugh or whatever, subscribe to him, and I'll give him a like. And yeah, so basically like this is sort of like, I would say, the most relatable version. And again, it's all very propagandized. Like this is never gonna say like for example, the title of this video is "Single Events Are Failing Without Men." It's sort of like just instantly like ropes in the single man that was turned down, or maybe had a bad experience at a singles event. This is like his get back video, right, where he's gonna see this and be like, I knew it wasn't me. It was those single events are just trash, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this title is never gonna be like "Single Events Are Winning Without Men." You know what I mean? Like it's all very like man empowerment, which, again, if there's one thing to come out of the manosphere that like I personally think is a good thing, or I would say like I'm proud of, like it's such a weird thing to say, I don't know, like, but one thing I think is good is like just empowerment in general. Like I do think there is sort of this like segment of men that has been disenfranchised to an extent, and like maybe doesn't have the best opportunities anymore like they once did, or has become economically less viable in this market. Well, like those people still have to live, right? And so if they're feeling unheard or if they're feeling invisible, any group of people, the same way like women used feminism to do this, and many would have complaints about how, feminism and how that's gone, but at least at its core, it's about empowerment, and helping vulnerable people stand up for themselves and like stand up for their rights and make sure their rights are upheld, and blah 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 blah. That's getting deep, but there is some vein of the manosphere that is just like men trying to empower themselves a little bit more, men that have felt vulnerable or felt invisible, which I think is good. But there's obviously a lot of aspects of it that they just come off kind of pathetic. And one of them is just this like refusal to have any introspection in like the media content that comes out, like that's manosphere oriented. And like I would say this is like a perfect example, right? Like there's never going to be a video on Levi Nix's channel that's like "Single Events Are Winning Without Men," right? That's like introspective and like here's why like it was a mistake for us to stop going to these things. And because I do think at the end of the day, like, and we're gonna actually
Women
let's
crying about something they want men to save. Singles events are dying, and it's women's fault. Your standards are too high.
And by the way, yes, I am just reacting to a reaction content. Why not, right? Like it's just what it is.
Let's get off into it.
I walked into that event last night, and I wanted to die. Everyone was so short.
I'm sorry. Fix this for you. And here we go. We'll turn this down a bit. And we'll get this there.
Every single man there was...
Okay, so we're going to react to this TikTok that he's reacting to.
Like less than 5'10".
Less than 5'10". Well, how about this? There was a lot of big back women there too. A lot of women that weren't in
Wait,
shape.
let me see you back here.
and it's women's fault. Your standards are too high. Let's get off into it.
I walked into that event last night and I wanted to die. Everyone was so short. Every single man there was like less than 5'10".
Less than 5'10". Well, how about this? There was a lot of big back women there, too. A lot of women that weren't in shape. This is why I don't feel bad for shaming big back women, because they want to shame us for being short, but they can't handle us shaming them for being fat.
5'10" or less, I mean.
Or y'all are beat. This woman's a 5 at best.
Not.
Okay, one thing that you'll notice like right away that I notice is like here I'm stuttering. In these Manosphere podcasts, the guys are very like open to being what I've always considered, I guess, like mean, or like just slightly over the line of mean, that like I've always sort of tried to hesitate to go if I'm like dealing with a woman, right? Or like dealing with a lady or whatever you want to say. Like he goes right to a level of like calling them like a 5, when it's like, okay, that he's totally entitled to that opinion. It incites me, and I guess it's probably what's somewhat entertaining about it, I guess, right? In like a weird way, is that like he's willing to just like outright call her a 5, which is like something I would say is mean. And also I would disagree. Like I don't think this girl's a 5. I don't think she's a 10, but I don't think she's a 5. Like I think that's low. I think she's beautiful. But again, like it's just that's one of the hallmarks of this type of content. I'm not saying Levi Nix is a mean guy. Again, I've enjoyed a lot of his content. I'm just saying one of his hallmarks is like he's and a lot of these podcasters is they're willing to like say the mean thing, or what you'd consider mean, not terrible, but just like mean enough where it's like, oh, he'll go there, like, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like areas of disrespect that I wouldn't, and like you'll notice like he's not afraid to like just call women fat, which is like something I would never do that in a public setting, at least, like, you know, or like online in a video that was public, especially with like a huge following. It's just an odd. It's a level of meanness, in my opinion. It's not illegal. There's nothing like super wrong with it, but it's just a level of meanness that like I am sort of like abhorrent to me. Like I don't know. I guess you could say like I wouldn't have the balls to do it, you know, like, but they do. These guys do, and I think it's part of like what makes them appealing.
No one.
Unfortunately.
No one was attractive.
Life is a mirror, not a window, honey. You're not attractive either.
Okay, now the irony of what I'm just saying is that like she is literally just like, this entire TikTok is her just blasting like it's this whole room full of men that she just didn't find attractive, and like mainly because they were all like short or like less than 5'10". Which again, it's up to women, like the height of the men they want to date, right? Like that's totally up to women. You cannot fault them for that. That's their choice. And men get to make similar choices, and they do. Everyone has to realize that like the more filters you put on what you want to date, the lower the percentage becomes. And like I think what maybe some people don't realize, men and women, is that like you put a filter like, let's say 6 foot on your like limitations on who you'll date. I don't know if people really realize the minuscule percentage that when you calculate in all the other factors of like who you have a chance with, the demographic, age group, you know, whether or not they're a dirtbag, money. You just add that 6 foot limiter on there, and it becomes like such a minuscule percentage of people that like you're making it really, really hard for yourself to find a date. And I think it's such a large explanation. That alone is such a large explanation for like why I feel like so many females feel like they can't find like a satisfactory man. It's literally that 6 foot height requirement. Because like let's just see here, what is the average height? Like average height of men. So the average male is 5'6". So if you're a woman that like thinks you're gonna like date like if you're a woman that thinks you're gonna date a man that's, oh wait, the average, okay, in the United States is 5'9". Yeah, I'm like 5'9.5", maybe 5'10" if I have the right shoes on. But if you're gonna date like if you're gonna say you're only gonna date a man that's 6 foot, I don't think you realize like how far above average you're requesting your man to be, and how like that actually limits percentage wise, like who you actually have a chance with.
Not
Like
even
it just it makes it such a lottery
no,
ticket that you need to
no,
win on in
not
order to
close.
actually find a mate, and that's why I feel like that's why so many women are out there like, why can't I find someone? Well, because it's like you literally have to like win the lottery with the filters that you put on that you have every right to put on.
Got to just pick wherever they wanted to sit and who they wanted to start dating, and I'm alone. So many girls. Well, I know we're all like.
I'm gonna be honest. You look like you're an extra on Gumby. I'm just not seeing it, honey.
Okay, I would disagree. I think this woman's beautiful. Not a 10, but not. I would never disparage her looks. She looks fine. But
With the green, I'm not seeing it.
So the guy's paid to be here. That's what's weird, and there's a lot more girls than guys, so that's weird. I don't know, it just like doesn't really make any sense, but there's so many girls here, everyone's so pretty, but the vibe
Are you talking about yourself? Because I'm not seeing it.
are a little weird.
Wait.
This is the biggest problem. Oh my God.
You really are a fat bastard.
Before we get into that clip, this is the problem. We have such hoflation in this country right now, where women that are shiny nickels at best think they're all 10s. We live in a world now where every woman thinks she's beautiful and is a 10. That to me.
okay, like this is to me like this is bait. Like what you're gonna hear like here is like it's like I almost feel like this guy like paid her to say like dumb things that made her look bad or something just for content. Because it's just so utterly ridiculous. It's just like the most dunkable thing. Like
Is the biggest problem. It's a massive problem because men
and this is
understand
like
that we're not all
this type
10s.
of content
I
is
get
so
that I'm
much
not
a part of
Rate
this
me in
stuff.
the
I
comments
need to
right
get some more
now.
water.
I have you guys do this, maybe even see it. Put the fork down. Looks like a melted candle.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Are you single?
I am
How do you achieve such a build in 26 years?
single.
What would you look for in a guy to date? What's all they gotta be?
6 foot.
6 foot to date a big back woman.
Okay, so again, like she has every right to choose what kind of man she wants to date. I hope she realizes like the how much she's limiting her chances of finding a mate requesting that he be 6 foot, right? Like, do these women realize? I don't know, because then like what happens is then like they 2 years later after they haven't found anyone, they're complaining into TikTok like, oh, I haven't found anyone. It's like, well, I mean, maybe you got to bring the height meter down 4 or 5 inches. You know what I mean? Like and someone, I'm sure there's someone that's gonna levy the criticism at me. Well, you're just saying that because you're 5'9", 5'9 and a half, 5'10", whatever it is. And I should probably just like measure myself. I literally haven't measured myself since I was like at the nurse's office in like municipal school. Like, so we could just call it 5'9". But like, yeah, I I don't think women realize that. Like, and then also like you hear women complain about not being able to find a good man, and I was like, well, maybe he's 5'6", 5'7", maybe that's a good man. But anyway, that's another discussion. So
6 foot, like that's a no-brainer.
now, the other one that you see is this sort of like psychological doctoral sort of like I'm smarter than you grifter guy, and I say grifter. I don't know anything about this guy. Like, he might be, completely legit smartest guy in the world on this subject, whatever. But all I know is, there's no real scientific or medical discipline, academic discipline, that like allows someone to like have a mastery over like dating. People can study relationships and relationship dynamics and sort of the typical behavior patterns in those things, right? But no one can sort of give someone the perfect formula for going out into the dating world, just because it's obviously this amorphous, constantly changing. It's like it's a market, That's the prices are constantly fluctuating. No one can diagnose dating and sort of like, especially the future of dating, any more than people can really diagnose the economy and the future of the economy. And you think about it, like we've been doing economies for like 4,000 years. We still really don't know how they work. We're the one that we're in right now is like on the brink of collapse. So it's like There's no way you can just there's no copy and paste system or like body of knowledge that you can just study and become an expert. It's very, the knowledge is constantly adapting, it's constantly being adapted, it's constantly changing. So anyone that claims to have like hard knowledge in this field or real answers, you always want to be skeptical. So when they're presented with sort of this like Greek ethos, of persuasion, of like credibility, like you look at him with the collared shirt and he looks very doctoral or academic, and when you hear him speak, you'll hear his cadence.
Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk
Orion Taraban, psychological doctor, I guess. I don't know.
Is the diamond mine. So there seems to be a perennial debate online about who is the prize in modern relationships. Is the woman the prize, or is the man the prize? And I'm here to weigh in on the matter because I think I can resolve this once and for all. First of all, we can certainly understand why some women, especially young and attractive women, believe that they're the prize, right? I mean, some of them have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers on social media. Some of them are making 6 figures a month selling their content.
Okay, so anyway, I don't mean to bore you. But this is sort of the other way that it's packaged, this content. This, I would say, is the more academic packaging, meant to bait in people that I guess you would say like are a little more cerebral, or at least fancy themselves a little more cerebral, or like looking for like that vein, that style of content a little more, versus like something really brain rotty or like manosphere-ish, right? This is just another way to get them, but it's the same tabloidy bullshit, like men are the prize, women are the prize, like very simplistic, just like reductive to like the way dating really works, which is like, no one really understands. It's just constantly going back and forth, and like at the end of the day, obviously in a healthy relationship, both people would want to be the prize to each other, right? Like obviously, it's not. That's the thing, is like they take issues that like aren't even that complicated, right? Like in a healthy relationship, both people would want to consider the other one a prize. Like that's not that complicated an idea, and like I feel like anyone can agree that's probably the truth, right? At the end of the day, if you want to have a healthy, lasting relationship, it's probably going to be the case that both people consider the other one a prize or a catch, or like, wow, I'm lucky to have this person, right? If one person considers them a prize, and the other person, or one person considers himself the prize, and the other person thinks, oh, I'm so lucky to have this person, like that's going to end up in balance. It's probably going to eventually end up in that relationship being in ruin or whatever, And again, I'm not a dating expert, no one is, but it's just like, it's just sort of this idea that no one even really needs to explore, right? Like it's like it's total clickbait. Men are the prize, women are the prize. No, like both people should be the prize, right? But instead we'll just argue about it because it's just an easy thing to argue about. And this guy gives like an academic argument to maybe, let's say, like some single man that's like more professional type and fancies himself a little bit more academic, but still has some of this angst that like, or this feeling of like having been passed over or looked over or whatever, right? And this gives him like, this is like a little bit of it gives him a dopamine hit to hear this like smart guy presenting it like, oh, I'm the prize, that's right, yeah, you should never have passed me over, you stupid woman, or whatever. So anyway, this is more packaging, and it's just like kind of
content on paid platforms. Like, that's impressive. And every like, every follow, every dollar is a man telling her that he likes what he sees. As a result, there are women who are receiving more attention and validation than literal empresses like Cleopatra herself received in their entire lifetimes every single day.
And you'll notice he's bringing in like he's like referencing historical information, like as if that like really like we were talking about like if we're talking about dating, like dating is such a in like relationships for such a base level human instinctual thing, right? Like it operates on feelings, it operates on like these weird vibes that we get that are deep in our core and our being, that like they have nothing to do with like complex psychological ideas. Like they're very base level, they're very primal, they're very instinctual, and it's like that's what guides you, right? And like this guy is just like, he's bringing in these like historical academic like comparisons, and it's just like, again, it's just that packaging that's meant to like appeal to someone who, list like maybe they listen to history podcasts, or you know what I'm saying, like it's just like another way to get them with the same tabloid BS. So anyways, um I want to react to some of this stuff. But this is sort of the other way that it gets packaged, which is just like full on, just like AI generated. Like you'll notice this video right here.
Things for herself, so the man shouldn't have to pay a dime for any of that.
This guy is just like
how is it different?
So this guy's just gonna react to TikToks of like women complaining. You'll notice that women complaining into their TikToks is like really the crux of all this content. But you'll never see a human being. Right, you'll just like hear his voice and see this like animated picture of him, and indeed he just has that similar animated picture as his profile picture. So my suspicion is that this is all like AI generated, and I'll just sub to him just because he does a lot of these videos. So it's good reaction content. If I'm just gonna grift off this, what better to grift it off than AI generated reaction content that I could just react to?
But he has to drop $200.
Yeah, because
minimum.
Yeah, because
just because you have to do your makeup.
Because I have to. Okay, so we're gonna do the math. My moisturizer is $400. My eye cream is $300. My serum is like another $300. My makeup, not included. So if I have to spend, that's my money.
Men did not make her purchase those things, therefore those are her expenses and hers alone.
Okay, like to me this is clearly AI generated. If I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but like this is obviously just the lowest of low in terms of brain rot content in this vein. And there's like, you'll notice there's like multiple channels like this, like oh, here's another one, Cosmic Verse.
Dating sucks so bad.
The very dating scene that modern women have built is the very one they're complaining about. It wouldn't have come to this if modern women didn't punish the good guy for being good.
You don't need to be at the bar looking for a man. You need to be at the bait shop between 5 and 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. They all are hot and jacked.
Okay. This is actually funny what she's pointing out, and you'll notice again, this is like, in my opinion, clearly all AI generated. I mean, there might be some humans sort of like managing the channel, but like the content is clearly AI generated, right? Like the person making the comments is not real. It's just a voice, and like they're using some sort of like LLM or ChatGPT or something to like react to analyze the video and just like give some standard reaction that's gonna like bait in some single man that's like pissed off at women. At least in my opinion, especially if you listen to like what the guy says. He just like, it's always some like, oh, women are stupid, they passed us up, like you guys were right, like they lost their chance at you type, like when really it's probably men a lot of these men watching this probably have lost most of their their chances at actually finding a date or finding a woman at this point are very slim, right? They're no different than a lot of these women that are complaining. But it's the content is all meant to make the men feel like they've won in some way, even though they're single too and alone. But like, no, we chose it. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I'm sure.
Crazy.
I've been going to a lot of places in the city recently: coffee shops, cafes, bars, events, places where there are a lot of.
And I don't mean to cut her off. But what this woman was just saying about going to the bait shops going to the bait shop at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, she found a bunch of men. She's not wrong in a sense. Like there are obviously places where you're gonna find like manly men, but I feel like what women have like sort of, there's a disconnect with women. And again, I don't mean to get preachy, but like I feel like women are looking for, like women complain about two things, right? Like that the men are not manly enough, or that they're not willing enough to spend their money, right? And I think that like one of the problems is that like, at least in this day and age, and this may have been different at one point, but like a lot of the men that have money are like number one, it's family money, or like it's because of some sort of nepotism, like where they got into the family business and they made like really easy good money. Or like, they work in finance, in which they're from some connected family, and in which case they're probably some type of spoiled brat, right? Whereas like the men who are manly, like women, if you want to find a manly man, just go down to your local mechanic shop. You're gonna walk in, you'll see a garage full of manly men, right? But they're making whatever it is, 25, 30 bucks an hour. They're not gonna be as willing to spend on you. They just don't have the money. But there's like you want a manly man. Those men are as manly as they get down to the mechanic shop or fixing the roads or whatever it is, building the buildings. But like they just don't, it's going to be really hard to find either one just in this, like someone who's got both, who's a manly man who's also got a ton of money. And like again, and then also they have to be 6 foot. If you're going to put all those filters on, you just have to realize like how much you're slimming down your odds. It's almost like you're hoping to win the lottery, right? It becomes such a slim chance that you're actually going to find someone like that, because then they also have to be someone that's attracted to you. It's like you could finally find someone that's the exact person they want. They just don't like you, right? Like so that's why you have to you're better off doing your best to have as wide a net as possible. And like some of these filters, it's just you're not doing yourselves any favors.
All are hot and
bars, coffee shops,
they all act crazy.
I've been going to a lot of places in the city recently, coffee shops, cafes, bars, events, places where there are a lot of people. And I haven't seen a hot man in a long time. I don't know how to explain this. I go out and I see beautiful women left, right, center. Beautiful women dressed up, stunning, hair done, confident. And then I just see no comparable men. I don't know what it is. Where are they? I haven't seen a man that's made me stop in my tracks in I don't even know how long. I haven't seen a man in public where I've been oh, that's my 10-second crush of the day. I see gorgeous women anytime I step outside of the house. I know there will be men who look at this and are well, we went outside and we saw you and we didn't think you were hot either. That's not what I'm talking about. I bet you went outside and you saw some women that were hot. And I know this is probably a function of the patriarchy, because women are expected to put more effort into their appearances and into presenting as hot more than men are, but it's kind of wild to me. Where are they?
This woman can't be serious. She mentions that she's seen women who are beautiful, hair done, makeup done, and in her words, stunning. While seeing all these women, she claims she can't find comparable men. This woman is living in an illusion, and what she's really doing here is redefining comparable in a way that only benefits her perspective. She's comparing visible, surface-level effort, makeup, hair, outfits, to men who typically don't express value the same way. Most men aren't walking around styled like Instagram models because that's not where their value is judged or built. And that's the issue with average women. They claim that there's always women who are 10s, but what they're actually looking at is fabricated. It isn't real. What they're comparing themselves to is often a finished product. The reason why they claim there aren't comparable men is because they're comparing real, everyday men to a highlight reel version.
Okay, I do think what she's saying is real. And again, there is a bit of arrogance in this where women are sort of there is an element of what she's saying where well, we're all beautiful and where are the good-looking men? You're all ugly. And to an extent, and as as men, we don't want to admit that, or our instinct is to sort of provide an excuse or why that's not true. Number one, I do think that men are not, they're just not going out to these public places quite as much, for sure. Unless you're a man with money and a decent amount of money, and you can afford to have a nice suit or whatever it is, a nice car, and go out to these public events or a nice restaurant or something. Even if that's something that you're only gonna do if that's part of your lifestyle, right? It's kind of uncommon that if someone can only afford to do that once every 6 months, that they're gonna do that, right? They're just gonna dress up and go out to some nice restaurant and try to buy an expensive drink for some girl. If that's not within your means, it's odd that you're gonna do that. And I feel like men just in general, for various reasons or because they have various avenues that they feel like they can meet women through, Bumble, Hinge, whatever it is, these online places, Instagram, that it's like, whereas they were once the only thing keeping them hanging on to going to these public places was the fact that like they did want to find a mate, even if like for a lot of them it was just a failure anyways. It was like that was truly the only way. Now that they have these other ways, at least that like provide them at least in their mind with the thought of like, well, I can always just go on Bumble, I can always just go on Hinge. Like I feel like a lot of men just skip that element of it, of going out like in public or like whatever. So yeah, I do think there's an imbalance there. I do think women just in general enjoy going out in public, enjoy getting dressed up, enjoy going to some type of public outing or public event, especially one that involves like, you know, spending money or being a part of like a higher status crowd, expressing that. Women just enjoy that more, right? Like men sort of try to avoid that stuff like the plague. And that's just, those two interests have really like split and gone their separate ways in a sense. As far as what she's saying about women looking better, like I do think just in general, like the standards of beauty being placed on women have sort of, it's the again, we've split in a very extreme way on that. It's like women have like they really try to check all the boxes of beauty, whereas like men for the most part, especially like ones who are trying to lean more masculine, well, like masculinity isn't about like primping and preening yourself so you look amazing, right? And I realize women want men to be like super nuanced and like thoughtful and like, oh well, I'm masculine here, but occasionally I dress up and I look nice and I can clean up. But like a lot of men just aren't that like smart. They don't have that type of complexity, right? And you can't just expect all men to be that way. And it's just not fair to consider men a disappointment if they can't be like super masculine, but also like know how to clean up and look nice and like be genteel or whatever you'd say. So yeah, I think, you know, that there is a bit of a misunderstanding there, or a disconnection there. Men just, you know, there's no expectation for us to be super good looking. Yo, Kevin.
Yeah.
And you know, like if this was anyone else,
I'm gonna share my screen. I want you to watch, like, bro. This is the other one. So this is the other stuff I've been seeing a lot of, like, just like in the same vein. It's sort of just like men like dunking on women for no particular reason. Like it's just like easy dunks. Like watch this.
Veggie.
Literally just has veggies.
Oh wait, hold on.
They gave me 2 chips, although
Here's another one. Here's another one.
Watch this.
Big bag.
I'm really upset right now. It takes the biggest bite out of the sandwich.
I got a veggie sandwich.
Veggie.
Literally just has veggies. They gave me 2 chips, although I asked for an apple.
You asked for an apple and they gave you chips. Stop lying.
But that's okay.
You seem really surprised.
Oh, they gave me the wrong sandwich. Oh no! Turkey with bacon and cheese.
This is just
really
troll.
upset right now.
I know,
Don't
dude.
I'll try it.
I'll try it, bro. Listen, this is
Like, I
what.
can't tell who's trolling. Like,
That's what I
if
mean.
he
This is so much of the
or-
content I get recently. Just like, it's just such bait. It's such reaction bait, right? Like she is clearly trolling. Like she's trolling the audience into like acting like this like sort of like oblivious fat person or whatever, right? Like, or like that she's trying to seem like she's trying to be healthy. Oops, I ate bacon again. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
but it's like so obviously just she knows what she's doing. She's just trying to get her. It's just a grift, right? Like, am I right about that?
Yeah, but then it goes further because then someone starts making fun of them.
That's
and
what
then
I
people just
mean.
everyone gets angry.
That's what I mean. It's like it's this back and forth ping pong of like content that generated all from like someone just like doing something super rage baity, and like contradictory. It's just so funny, dude. And then this guy just like his content is just I just dunk on, I just slam dunk on her for being fat.
Yeah, making
It's
fun
a
of her
massive
for her just joking, or like acting like it's not a joke and just being like, wow, you're just fat,
Pretty tasty.
kind of thing.
Honey, that's not what I asked for.
This whole section of YouTube that is like puffing men up, making them think like, oh, she should never have passed you up. Now she's really feeling the pain of doing that. Like, no, like, for every single woman, for every lonely single woman, there's a lonely single dude, you know, like, I don't know.
True.
We can try to frame it like, oh, our men go their own way, but it's really just like, no, we're just single and lonely too. We gotta figure out a way to like bridge this gap somehow. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, it's all just kind of new because everyone else used to not have to rely, or everyone else didn't rely on social media. Now everyone's just like dead stuck in it. So it's like you don't just go to like the diner just to like socialize, and then like, you know what I mean? Like it was just easier back, even in the 90s or whatever. It's like went out and socialized more because there wasn't.
No, totally.
Fucking, you weren't streamed everything. You weren't just fucking. You couldn't just get a game on like everything, dude. You know what I mean? Like you can just get a video game on your PC now. You can just watch whatever. You don't have to go to the movie store. You don't have to do anything.
Well,
just like, I think that plays into it.
How
too.
the heck am I
It's like-
single?
It's like we're like the first generation in our 30s to like have to deal with that. No one really knows how to fucking deal with it.
Exactly. And so where does that lead? Like I often think like, if we are truly this divided in dating, right? Like, how does that gap get bridged? Like we don't.
I don't know.
We
We're
can't.
kind of just. I don't know.
Like it ultimately does lead to like population decline, obviously at the most extreme, but
yeah.
It's just funny, like bro, the internet is a flood. Like okay, watch like this video I have going right here.
Men barely put
I'm
any
listening to
effort
it.
these
Yeah.
days because they don't have to.
Suddenly, a lot of women are coming out saying, give me the boring man. I don't want the exciting man anymore.
Men will never have to experience loneliness the same way that women do, especially not when it comes to dating. Dating is a male-dominated
that's
field.
not
and I
true
will-
at all.
Loneliness.
What are you saying?
Like men
explain.
don't have to men don't have to experience loneliness. Like no, that's false. Like I don't know who, like dude. And I don't like to be like. Actually, no, I do think this. Women can just get laid or talk to people. Like, can just do it so much easier than guys.
That's so true.
Like, so who are they to say like, well, we're the lonely ones? Like, no, you're just not the ones. Obviously, not trying hard enough. Because like, if you talk to a guy for a week, they're gonna probably want to get in your pants. So. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
think-
mean? Like, dude, for us, it's a lot more of a task to like get to know a girl and you know start to talk to
Have
someone.
intimate relations. Yeah, it's very limiting.
How these girls are talking like, oh, I'm independent, I'll do what I want. That was me. That was literally me. And now I look back, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
Would you say feminism is a lie?
It's the biggest lie to destroy women and families. It's the establishment wanting to get our tax dollars.
Okay, that is very conspiratorial. I do not agree with that. I think there's a lot of aspects of feminism that are great, but it's just like anything. It's like with the manosphere. It's like at its core, it's about empowerment. It's about coming together as like a vulnerable group of people and sort of trying to work together to make your voice heard and to assert your position in society, right? But it just comes with all these weird side effects and weird side shoots and offshoots and side thinkings and offshoot philosophies and stuff, right? And there's a small subsection of feminists that have like been very extreme and very aggressive and sort of overstepped the point of a cause as there has been on the side of the manosphere or whatever, right? It's like there's so many aspects of the manosphere that you could point to and say like, well, what the hell is that? And that's weird, and you know, that's probably mean and sexist, misogynist, whatever. Like, those are real things. Like sexism, misogyny, those are real things, guys. Like, they are things that we have to be aware of, and that's not to say we can't be ourselves, right? You can be expressive and also not cross certain lines. It's hard, but I don't think we have to like neuter ourselves or be any less masculine just because we're not being mean, right? Like, to women in a way that's just like degrading. Now amongst each other, I think that's the space for it, right? Like, I think as men we do treat each other and ourselves with a little bit more of a heavier hand, with a little bit more aggression, and that's where we sort of can compartmentalize those behaviors. But I think it's important just for like to resolve some of this friction between men and women, for us to be aware that, like, you know, saying mean things, being disrespectful, crossing those lines, it doesn't lead to any more, you know, we're not gonna get any dates doing that stuff. So you're not bridging any gaps.
So then they can benefit and destroy our families.
They always seem to realize that feminism is just a complete scam after it is too late for them.
Modern women be like,
These are for you.
That's so sweet, but you shouldn't have.
Huh?
Girls see a guy being too nice and it makes them seem lonely, desperate, weak. Just be a little tougher. You know, make like you don't need me. Like you don't need any girl. Then girls will want you. Okay. I need to talk to you.
Okay, so
you see grown
obviously,
men
like, you
talking
can
here?
see like the dichotomy being presented here that, like, I think women get sort of blamed for a lot, which is that, like, they want, you know, they don't want a man to seem desperate or lonely. So when you're a nice guy, that's kind of how it comes off. But then, like, when they're with like a dickhead guy, like, then they're complaining that he's not nice enough, right? Which is, there is a dichotomy there, and that is contributing to some of the confusion around like why women feel like they can't find an adequate partner, right? Because they are setting unrealistic expectations and also like conflicting expectations. But I don't think that that's women specific at all. Like, I think men do the same thing, right? Like, we've always considered men to be sort of they love the chase, right? Which is basically another way of saying, like, if they can get a woman too easily, like if a woman is just like sort of what they actually want, which is like someone to have sex with or someone who will be a loyal partner to them, right? Like, a lot of times, like, that's, you know, men aren't attracted to that if it's sort of too easy, right? But it's like, what, that doesn't make any sense. If she's what you want, like, you shouldn't need her for it to have to come in a difficult way. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's incongruent. It's like conflicting expectations. To want the women to want you, but also to want to be chased. It's like this very narrow set of behaviors that she can express in order to be successful, right? And it's, women do the same thing where they're like, well, don't be too nice, but, you know, I also want you to be nice, and you know what I'm saying? So we both do that to each other, and I do think it's just like something people have to be aware of if you're serious about like trying to find a partner. Like, you know, I'm sure a lot of females can look back that are in their 30s and single, can look back over their 20s and think of at least of a couple guys that like were the nice guy that they turned down, that maybe now they say to themselves, well, maybe, you know, I wouldn't mind having the nice guy now, right? And it's no different for men. Like, I can think of women in my 20s where, you know, I just think, oh, you know, why didn't I just behave a little differently, and I'd probably still be with her, right? But we all have to learn lessons, but the point is, do you actually learn them, right? But yeah, so anyways, that is probably all the content we're going to react to today.